So
okay.
Happy New Year. Happy 2021. Let's have some fun in 2021. A little different than 2020. Kind of makes you think about, you know, how is 2020 going to be used? You know, anytime something unexpected happens, we're going to go, well, that was a 2020. So just confirm for me that you can see my screen. You guys can
Yes.
see SJREI screen share?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, we see everything. Yep.
Perfect. Yay. Technology is great when it works. So we start out with our disclaimer that basically says we're here for networking and education. Anything that is said by our speakers or other participants is for your own due diligence to research it. Don't just blindly accept it. And if you do invest with anybody here, you're investing at your own risk. Or if you've been to any of my meetings, you know how I say it is, if you invest with somebody and you make money, I'll let you keep it. And if you invest with somebody and you lose money, I'll let you keep that too. So our mission is to provide education, to provide inspiration to actually move forward. And we're going to have a great time sharing some information with you today that I think is going to be good to help move you forward. SJREI is where the deals happen. We've talked about with our members, how many of you have done deals with other people from SJREI? And over 78%, almost 80% of people who attend our meetings have done a deal with somebody from the group. And so we have a very active base. You're in the right place if you're ready to go out and start investing. So before I talk about our deal, I'm going to have Liz Puga, my business partner, go ahead and present a market update for you. So Liz, I'm going to stop sharing and you go ahead and start sharing your screen. Liz, you're on mute. You're still on mute.
There we go. Okay, sorry. Do you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, great. Okay, let's start again. So hello, everybody. Happy New Year. I just want to start with sharing a little bit of the 2021 market forecast by CAR. This is a real condensed version. This report is extremely long. And again, if you want the whole copy, I can send that to anybody who, requests it. So first of all, it looks like consumer confidence is building back up, which is a good thing. So as far as the California housing market, of course, everyone knows the interest rates are hovering right around 3%. So that's pretty amazing. And then the buyers are feeling the strong demand for mortgages with the interest rates so low. And so the price growth is up double digits in all percentiles. And the interesting thing is it's the strongest gain in the top end. And I'll show you more info on that. So the inventory is down as sales improve and there's fewer new listings being added. So the active listings plunged as pent-up demand remains robust. So there's a supply and demand issue here. So the share of first-time home buyers is the highest in 10 years. And again, it's due to those low interest rates. But the international buyers are down sharply. We're down to 1.8% in 2020. I think there's a lot of things going on, especially the pandemic, which is a factor there. So this is interesting. The quality of life overtook housing affordability as the buyer's main reason for relocating. So get down here. And more sellers continue to move out of California since 2005. You'll see we're right around 30%. And they moved to another state. And of the housing affordability, you can see here in the Bay Area, let's see, San Mateo, San Francisco, Santa Clara County, it's hovering right around 17%, but the state overall is at 33%. Okay, so Bay Area is pretty low there. There's another interesting fact. It says the California population is pretty high compared to 1986. And the realtors have almost doubled since 1986. Home sales are about the same, but as you look at the housing permits, way low. So we got higher population and lower new start permits. So that's a factor there. So let's see. And then this is another interesting fact. 46 of the 143 largest cities are majority renters, so over 50%. All these people moving out. And then the cheaper counties are leaving the state. The forecast, let's see, down here. So coronavirus remains the biggest wild card. You know, we had the resurgence since the holidays, but fortunately we have the vaccines. They're trying to get out to everyone, so that's a good thing. But we still have 24 million Americans still receiving unemployment. And the good part here is that many homeowners have skin in the game because they still have equity in their properties with the values being so high. So prices weren't as inflated as they were in 2005, so that's another good thing. So we're not in as bad shape as we were back then. The potential REO scenarios, baseline is 8 and 10%. You know, back in 2009, it was up to 60%. So you can see the difference there. And so still bullish on California long-term. We're the 5th largest economy, 25 million international arrivals annually, and the top global universities here. And we have 175 billion in annual exports. So that's California. I want to show you a real quick snapshot, if I can, of Santa Clara County. Ooh, where'd it go? No. Let's see. It's getting hidden by the bar there. Nope, wrong one. Wrong one. Oh, great. Shoot. Okay, hold on one sec. I'll find it for you. Okay, so Santa Clara, this is interesting. I wanted you to see this. So the median price in Santa Clara County is $1,383,000. And look at this, home sales year over year increase 34. Oh, yeah.
We're still seeing the California ones. So whatever you're looking at, you need to move over to your screen so that we can see the same thing.
Uh-oh. Let me see. Can you see it now?
Yes.
Oh, good. So, good. I wanted you to see this. So, yeah, this is the Santa Clara County statistics. The median price here is $1,383,000. And look at the home sales, up 34.4% over last year. And the unsold inventory is low. And then the average days on the market are 8. And a lot of times it's even shorter than that. But I just wanted to show you the local activity also. Let me see if I can open San Mateo here. Okay. So you can see median sales price in San Mateo County, 1.65. And also the same thing with year to year increase in 28.3% in sales. It's pretty amazing. And the average days on the market is 11%. So interesting facts there. I just wanted to give you a real quick snapshot of what's going on in the market. If you guys want more information or the whole full car report, I'd be glad to send that to you. Okay.
So Liz, you want to share your email address so they can make that request
Yeah.
to you?
So my email, you can send it, excuse me, is Liz_Puga, P-U-G-A, at yahoo.com.
And Jeff, if you could put that in the chat for everyone, that'd be awesome. Thanks, Liz.
Okay.
So one of the things that I've been hearing a lot about is that California is not the only place with very little inventory. Nationwide, inventory is about 2 to 2.5 months of inventory instead of 6 months, which is a balanced market. The other thing we've seen in the marketplace is the cost to build, like the lumber, the supplies that normally come from China. All of that have gone up as much as 3 times what they were just a year ago. So you noticed when Liz was talking that the number of permits being pulled is down. That's going to create even more demand in the fact that there is nothing being built. The cost to build here is very high. It's very hard to get affordable housing built here because your city fees and everything are so expensive. So when you guys can find properties, you know, there are opportunities. There definitely are opportunities out there, whether it's this market or any market. Do not be afraid of it. Just make sure you're following a couple of the statistics. You know, everybody goes, oh, follow days on market. I actually think one of the better statistics to follow and make sure that you're not going to get lost in the shuffle is price reductions. Every market has price reductions. Somebody lists it for a certain price, maybe it doesn't sell, they reduce the prices. If you look at price reductions year over year and you track it for 3 months at a time, you can find the trend. Are we reducing prices more quickly, or are we not reducing prices? And when you do that, if you're following that trend line of price reductions, you will be about 60 to 90 days ahead of the market and be able to adjust your price and get out of a deal quick enough. So that's what you want to pay attention to is price reductions. Now, some of you know that Liz and I have been working on a large development deal. So before I turn this over to my friend Maria, I am going to share just a little bit of an update. So we have got this project in downtown San Jose. It's on West San Carlos between the blocks of Boston and Brooklyn. One of my coaching students identified one of the parcels, and with her help and negotiation with us and the owners, we were able to put the entire block under contract. The interesting part about this particular block is it's part of the Urban Village Redevelopment Plan in San Jose. And what that means is that we can get more density and more height on this area than currently exists. So we put in to the city of San Jose a building that will be approximately 187,000 square feet on a 1 acre parcel. It will go up 6 and 7 stories. It will have at least 200 units of assisted living memory care and 61 independent living, and it will have retail on the bottom. This particular project has made it through the first round of comments, and they all came back that we have a project that is substantially conforming. The staff at the city of San Jose, they ran it against all of their metrics and it's conforming everywhere. And then the political force, who, you know, is pretty good in San Jose, is also very much in favor of it because as assisted living will have less traffic in the area, yet it still follows the community living. They want work-live communities being built on this corridor, which this would provide. So this is a little bit of what the building will look like. You can see in the front that we've got our retail and our condos. The backside is the assisted living, and we're redesigning it, the backside, to actually be 7 stories instead of 5 stories. And that's the backside of it, where it will have, you know, glass cafeterias and decks, promenades available for the seniors to get some outside time and to still be safe. So the reason I'm mentioning this is we are doing an equity raise. We've raised almost $3 million. We have 3 seats left, 3 shares, 300,000 left. And so if you do have interest, now is the time to come on board. This will be short term. We will be selling it by October of 2022, and each share is 100,000. We are open to anybody. You do not have to be accredited, but you do have to be sophisticated. And sophisticated means that you understand investing and you understand that there's risks. So just a high level, what we're offering is the greater of 9% annualized ROI or 0.5% of the profit. If we meet our profit goal of 25 million, that'll be a net cash flow of 5.4 million. So that means for every 100,000, you would get a return of 27,193 or 17.2% IRR, equity multiple of 1.87. If that were, not our profit goal, then you would get 9% for the 24 months, which would be 18,000. So why is it a good investment? Well, it's in one of the hottest redevelopment areas of high tech. It's right near the new Google campus that's going to be coming in. If you've been down West San Carlos or Bascom at all recently, you'll see all the redevelopment signs that are up. Ours is up too. That entire area is being gentrified. It will be a signature project in the size and scope that it is. As mentioned earlier, it's supported by San Jose staff and city council, and it's recession friendly. We are creating forced appreciation regardless of what the economy does. It's short term, and our projections will be double-digit returns. So if you do have interest in this, just reach out to me and we'll see if you're qualified to join us on this. With that said, I am happy to present Maria as our speaker. Thank you for opening the new year. You're on mute. Make sure and unmute yourself. I'm going to go ahead and introduce you. So Maria is part of, or was part of a mastermind, is where I met her. And I have to tell you, this woman is a woman after my heart because she's a mom. She's an accomplished businesswoman. She comes from the background of medical. She was a trauma nurse. So talk about somebody who's got stability of mindset and emotion. She's got control. But you know what? She is a mastermind. I'm telling you, this woman knows how to put deals together like nobody's business. Process orientated, techie, and enjoyable, fun. She's got everything going for her. So let's welcome to the stage, Maria.
Thank you so much, Lori. I appreciate it. Let me, let's see, I think you have to stop your screen share. There you go. Perfect. Thank you. And let me share my screen with everyone. And there we go. Can everybody see my slide? Perfect. Awesome. Awesome. Well, thank you so much. And wow, what a ride 2020 has been, and going into 2021. I like to open up with some facts and statistics that I kind of got. And one of the ones I recently saw was an article that was put out by Money Magazine. And it was kind of interesting because this article was talking about the forbearances and the people that are out of work, what you guys have heard, with the 24 million Americans that are on unemployment and all that stuff. But what it was saying is that over 3 million homeowners remain 90 days or more past due on their mortgages. And what this means to you, and what I'm going to go into tonight and how this pertains is, you already heard that people are getting a lot of equity. There is a shortage of properties across the country. Every market I'm in, and I'm in several different markets. We joke around, Phoenix is one of the markets we're in, and we joke around that, you know, you talk about 30% of California where we're leaving there or stuff like that. And we joke that they're all coming to Phoenix. Because I deal with more people from California, I think, in Phoenix than I did when I went to San Diego during the summers. So, but what all this means to you is you're seeing record appreciation in these properties. So here's the thing. We already know that most of these people are in forbearance. And with forbearance, and we don't know what the new administration is going to do, although we believe strongly that they've said that they're going to extend the forbearance period. We don't know if it's 3 months, 6 months, how long they're going to do it. But here's what it means for you guys. We've already heard that people who are in forbearance have to repay back that money. Many of them who have good credit going into this still will have good credit because they're in forbearance. They're not going to have their credits dinged. However, and they can do loan modifications and cash in on the record low interest rates and all that kind of stuff, or they can be put on a payment plan with their financial plan, mortgage lender for what they owe in forbearances. But nobody is really talking about those people who need to sell, who need that equity in their property, or don't have the pristine, the pretty properties because they haven't been able to update them, because they are distressed properties, they need new roofs, they have broken windows, all this other stuff. Those people, if they have to sell, and granted, they might have equity, but how are they going to compete with the other properties out there? And this is where you guys come in as real estate investors. And this is what I want to talk about. Oops, let me see if I can get my slide going. Click on that. There we go. And this is what I want to talk about today. And I'm going to try to keep the chat box open. So if anybody has questions, hopefully I can see. I use multiple screens, so it might look like I'm looking all over the place. I'm trying to look at you guys. But anyhow, so, oops, let me go back. So here's the thing. As a kid, I was brought up to, you know, believe in the American dream. Like most people, depending on your family and the part of the country, but it's pretty much all the same thing. As a little girl, and here I am as a 1-year-old, my parents had taught me that, you know, you go to school, you get good grades. I did not get good grades. In fact, I had learning disabilities. And back then, I went to school that was just kind of outside the inner city of Milwaukee. And kids with disabilities and learning disabilities and stuff, we were put in the basement. Seriously, we're in the basement next to the boiler room. And so my parents moved us out of the city and put us out in the country. And we were in like farmland, population of 2,000 people. And again, I had learning disabilities. And I remember my high school counselor telling me, you're never going to amount to anything, because I didn't get good grades. Now, see, 50% of my classmates ended up going to work in the local factories or worked on farms, or many of them had worked in the local bowling alley and bars. But my parents had this American dream for me, and it was, you're either going to go into the trades, and my father was an electrician, a master electrician, and he wanted to have this daddy-daughter team. And here's the thing, you guys are in California. This is winter where I grew up. This is the lighthouse in Port Washington, Wisconsin, about 2 winters ago. And so I didn't want to go into the trades because my father was always working outside. So instead, I chose to go to school. I worked really, really hard to get that education. And what I quickly learned was that this American dream that we're brought up to believe in is flawed, because it tells you you're going to go to school, you're going to get this great job, or you're going to go into this trades and get this great job. But then you're going to be able to get a house, have, you know, 2.5 kids or whatever, have the car, be able to care for you and your family. The thing that I didn't talk about was that sometimes bad things happen to good people, like right now. You know, I got divorced. Divorces are happening at record rates right now. You have unemployment, people losing their jobs due to COVID. The other thing is people are losing their businesses. Entrepreneurs, I know, a local town by where I live now in Pennsylvania, I drove through there the other day, and it was storefront after storefront of mom and pops losing businesses, losing their business. There's a supplement business. My son became really good friends with a guy because my son just got out of the military. This guy got out, put his whole life savings into starting his business just before COVID. COVID struck like 2 months after he started his business and it folded up. He lost his business, his livelihood, and his employees lost their jobs. So we're seeing so much of this happen. Or maybe you're one of the lucky people that instead of losing your job, you end up with a pay cut. I know doctors. I have students, coaching students that are doctors, that are even attorneys that have been furloughed. Nurses, the hospital by us, you know, they've gotten pay cuts. They were told you have to take a 10% pay cut. I know people have had to take a 25% cut. Now they're just thankful they still have a job, but how are they going to get by with so much less? Well, this was me. So this is my first husband, and I ended up shattering my dreams at that point because here I am, a young mother in Mexico. We're about to be corporately transferred to Mexico, and this is the day my dreams got shattered. I found out that the love of my life at the time had a mistress, and he wasn't going to give up his mistress, and it just so happened that that was his secretary in Mexico. So, okay, fine, life happens. I'm a survivor, I move on. I get married a second time. Well, turns out that my second husband had some drinking and prescription drug issues and couldn't take care of himself, let alone, 4 children. I had 2 from my first husband, 2 with my second. So here I am, a divorced single mom with 4 kids, no child support coming in. And then, oh my God, the worst thing happens. I lost my job. And see, that wasn't supposed to happen. I picked a profession that, 1, I really, really love, nursing. But 2, is supposed to be recession proof. You're not supposed to lose your job when you're a nurse. So all of a sudden I'm finding myself unable to feed my children. I'm on public assistance, and here I'm college educated. What the heck? And I couldn't afford coats for my children in the middle of that brutal cold Midwest winter. So I'm going to Goodwill, and Goodwill doesn't have coats. So I'm buying sweaters and putting 2 and 3 sweaters on my kids because I couldn't afford that. And here's the question that you have to ask yourself, and maybe some of you actually know the answer to this now, is how long can you last if your paycheck stops today? And this is something that a lot of Americans are asking themselves now, and they're finding out not enough. You see, the American dream my parents brought me up to believe in is that I had to have 3 months in savings. Well, that went by like that. And here's the problem with most Americans, because of this COVID, 3 months doesn't even scratch the surface. So I knew I had this burning desire to become financially free, probably like most of you guys that are here today. And here's the thing. I'm divorced. I'm a single mom. I have no income coming in. I have 4 kids. How do you do it? And it's like of no fault of my own. Well, I knew that real estate is the answer. That real estate has made literally more millionaires and billionaires than anything else out there. The problem is, who do you go to for advice? Who do most people go to advice? Well, typically it's our friends and our family who have never done what it is we want to do. You know, and they give us their jaded mentality. They say, real estate, are you kidding me? Didn't you see what happened in 07 and 08? It's too risky. Look what's going on now. Or my favorite, no offense to you guys out there, but when I started getting into it, one of the things that guys would tell me is, honey, sweetie, you'll break a nail. You're a girl. You can't flip houses. Leave that to the guys. And the third thing I got a lot, and this is, I think, something that a lot of people need to get over, is I was told, honey, it takes money to make money. And girl, you're broke. Well, today I want to show you how, with little to nothing down and with less than perfect credit, because let's face it, a lot of people right now do not have really good credit, you can invest in real estate. And what I set out to do was, from the time I got my very first property, I made almost my annual salary as a trauma nurse in less than 60 days. From that point, in less than 6 months, I call it my 6 months to freedom, I was able to no longer have to worry about being a nurse. I was able to quit my job at that point because I had gotten a new job. I was able to quit my job as a nurse, working day, night shift rotations, never seeing much of my family, having to tell them, hey kids, sorry, mommy has to work Christmas. You're not going to be able to open up your presents until 8:30 at night. That went over big. So within 6 months, I was able to become a full-time real estate investor just by what I'm going to be teaching you guys tonight. And then we're also doing a Saturday class as well. So tonight we're just going to scratch the surface. Saturday, we're going to take it deeper below that surface. But here's the thing. When COVID-19 hit, it did not affect me or my family. I still bought, sold properties. I have one closing at the end of this month. I have another one that I just bought last week and the guys started on, I bought it on Thursday. The guys started on it today. So COVID didn't affect me. All my tenants, because of the way I set it up in my lease agreements that are included in my system, all my tenants paid. I didn't have any non-payments. I didn't have any late payments because what I'm about to show you tonight and on Saturday works. And you see each one of these properties meant freedom for my family. These are all deals that I've gotten, be it a wholesale deal that I got in wholesale, a house I did from a ground up, a spec build, a lease option property, a subject to property, a wrap. And some of these are foreign terms, and it's okay because, you know, bear with me, on Saturday, you'll know exactly by the end of the day what these are. But each one of these properties I found with one of the marketing techniques I'm going to show you, with one of the negotiation techniques I'm going to show you, or through one of the creative deal structurings. I even have that last property there was on television. This property here was a $60,000 wholesale fee. And that property is the one that started it all. So I call this investing with no limits because there really is no limits to just what you can do with your real estate investing. So I like to refer to this, I'm trying to get rid of this bar here so I can see you guys. There we go. So there's 3 strategies or 3 techniques really that you have to master to be a successful, what all the successful real estate investors are doing and doing really, really well. See, the first thing is, now my slide's not working. Here you go. The first thing is your marketing. You've got to create that money tree, that marketing money tree. So we're going to talk about that because that is how you locate your properties. Then you got to be able to lock them in, and that is your negotiation. So I like to teach my students how to negotiate literally like a Jedi Master. Nobody else teaches negotiations like this. And here's the thing. Is all those actors and actresses that win those Oscars and those Golden Globes and everything else, what do they have that you don't have? It's not their charisma. It's not their looks. They're not any more eloquent. They have the award-winning script. And your negotiation script is that award-winning script. That is what is going to lock in your deals and get your sellers to want to do business with you, give you discounts on their property, and do these creative deal structuring. The last thing, the third thing, is your creative deal structuring. Creative, a lot of people go, oh my God, I'm not a creative person. How can I do this? I don't know. I mean, you need an engineer or something, or deals, that's Kmart. Creative deal structuring, when you have a checklist and you have all the pieces together, they're actually really easy to do. It's like an algorithm that you just follow. So tonight, I want to start with marketing. And I get it. Marketing is just marketing unless it's not working. But the thing I need you to do, and this is what I want you to write down, is you've got to pick 3. Pick 3 strategies for your marketing. 1 isn't enough because if it fails, you're done. And 10 is too many. Heck, 5 is too many. Because unless you have a team around you, I bet you over 90% of you, probably over 95% of you, don't have a team around you. So you don't know which one of your funnels, and your funnels is all the leads that are coming in the top, the low-hanging fruit coming out the bottom. You don't know what is working. So you're wasting money and throwing it at a whole bunch of different strategies. So you need to pick 3 strategies for your marketing to build that marketing money tree. The other thing, the second thing you need to write down is you have to be consistent. See, marketing is not a one and done thing. With marketing, you have to be consistent. What that means is you're not doing it 1 week and then taking the next 3 weeks or 3 months off and then going, this stuff doesn't work. No, you've got to be every week doing that marketing machine, getting that out there. So tonight I'm going to go through one of my favorite strategies. It's Maria's strategy number 48. It's code violations. And this is one that I'm just killing it on. My students are killing it on finding properties using this. I'm also going to show you a slide that has like 10 other different techniques on it. In my systems and stuff, I have over 100 different techniques. Now it seems overwhelming. And why do I show you so many different ways? Well, it's real simple. What works for Jane over there, her 3 ways, isn't going to work for Johnny. So you have to pick the 3 strategies that connect with you, that work for you individually. So one of the strategies that I really like to do are code violations. And all code violations are properties that are boarded up, have overgrown lawns. Maybe it has some type of a hazard, like in this case, the porch is falling off, or you can't even see the property because of the overgrown brush. And here's one of the things I realized coming from my own personal experience. When I got laid off, and things always happen at once. When I got let go, the same thing happened with me, was that my lawnmower quit working. And I didn't have the $50 to go out and fix the lawnmower. It sounds trivial. So the grass is getting, growing up. And the thing is, my house was really nice on the inside, but from the outside, it looked like a dump. So what did I do? I went out and I had a weed whacker. Try mowing your lawn, a 10,000 square foot lot, with a weed whacker, because I didn't want that code violation. And here's the thing. Many of these houses that look horrible on the outside may not be so bad on the inside. That is something I have found. The other thing is people start to let their pool go. Think of all the people who have lost their jobs or aren't making as much money right now. They're not able to afford, and you guys are like Phoenix, you have tons of pools. Well, you're not able to afford the $35 or whatever a week for the pool guy to come, or all the chemicals and stuff you need, so the pool goes green. Your municipalities have these drones. They're out there looking for green pools, because green pools are a breeding ground for mosquitoes and other things, and they're a health hazard. They're also a safety hazard. So they slap on a code violation. Your neighbors will turn in this particular property. A neighbor turned them in because he had a big broken window and he put a piece of plywood over it because he didn't have the couple $100 to fix the window, to get the new plate of glass in. So you got a guy like this who goes around and sticks a notice on the door. Sometimes they're driving around and they're looking for violations, or like I said, the neighbors are calling him. Neighbors love, it seems like, to turn in other neighbors. It's not right, but they do it because I guess nobody wants to live next to the distressed house. Or drive around and you see something like this. Now this is an older code violation and you'll see them everywhere. And what it is it's a square that's like taped and old on the door. So you have another sign that says must not be occupied. And so the code lady goes around and takes a picture, and it's a public notice. And here's the thing that I like to teach my students, and I've done for years, is I teach them how to get in with a code enforcement officer. And it used to be that you could go down to the office and get to know them, build rapport, and get the leads that way. Well, it doesn't work that way anymore. In fact, you must know what to ask for. And one of the things that you're telling them is how you want to help the community, how you want to help with these distressed properties. You want to fix them up, make them pretty again, and put nice families in nice properties so that the code enforcement person no longer has to be getting the calls from the hateful neighbors. They no longer have to deal with it. And even better for the city, it's a chance for the city to get increased tax revenues because property values are going to go up. So my students know exactly what to ask and exactly how to ask it and what to say in order to get, and I like to refer to these as the little golden nuggets. And here's one of the things is you do not want, and this is what I told my student Dirk, you don't want the entire year's worth of code violations. You guys live in a pretty large area. What you want to ask for is maybe the last month. I would start with first to see how many you get. And you also want to narrow it down to what I like to call my honeypot, or the area, the demographic area that you are searching for properties in, that you are farming. You don't want all zip codes. You just want the ones that you're working, because otherwise you're going to have to sort, sift, and separate, contact these sellers. And if you have a list of 5,000 like my student got, it gets pretty overwhelming. So you just want the most recent, maybe 1 or 2 months out to start working with. So write down the strategy. Code violations is huge. Now here's a list of what I like to refer to as, I guess, my top 10. It changes all the time. Take a picture of it. We're not going to go into this today. Maybe if we have time on Saturday, we'll go into some of that. But on Saturday, I really want to show you what to do to get those leads coming in. So here's my student, Misha. And Misha was kind of like me in that she's a single mom. She has 5 kids. And at one point, she was homeless. Her youngest is 2 years old now, just had her 2nd birthday. And imagine being a mother of 5 or a father of 5, it can be fathers too, who's homeless, living out of your car. Well, Misha wanted to become a real estate investor, and she's living in a small area of Wisconsin called Appleton, Wisconsin. And it's, I don't know, population probably 40,000 or so. It's a big industrial town, a lot of paper mills. They make a lot of toilet paper, which we all know came in handy during COVID, stuff like that. So Misha was having a hard time finding motivated sellers. See, she couldn't go to wholesalers because she didn't have the money, and she was just kind of learning what to do. So what I taught Misha to do when she invested in my system and stuff is you need to go to your code enforcement, because she was seeing violations around her. She was seeing distressed properties. And she's like, man, why won't someone do something about that? So I said, Misha, you can be the one to do something. You need to make friends with your local code enforcement officer. You start with one. You call them and you say, hey, I noticed this property, or there's a bunch of distressed properties. I want to see if there's a way I can work with the city and help you out. How can I get a list? And ask them, would you have any objections to sending me a list of your most recent code violations? Because I want to be able to bring these properties back to their former glory and put nice families in them and help the city get, you know, better taxes and the appreciation. Well, from there, I told Misha, now once you get that one code enforcement officer on board, then you need to ask her, do you have anyone else in your office that you think this would be helpful? You have to ask. If you don't ask, you're not going to get them. So she asked one, and then the second one referred her to a third one. So in less than 30 days, she got 3 code enforcement officers sending her the list in the area she wants, in the area she's working, of code violations. And in less than 30 days, Misha, just from this one technique, was able to get her first 2 properties. Now, here's the thing. One of the properties was incredibly distressed. So she negotiated it down to the right price and was able to wholesale that to a fix and flipper. She then used that money for the second property. So you see how one can feed into the second. She used that money then for the second property to do a creative deal and make it her first rental property, because she wanted to get that revenue. She wanted to have those monthly checks coming in. And you see, Misha had never had anything other than like a public assistance check coming in. Now she has checks from paying tenants. So as Misha, excuse me, I love her name, says, just one marketing tip Maria gave me has helped me to build a relationship with 3 city and code inspectors and an endless supply of leads. See, these code inspectors thank me for helping them while making money buying their properties. Maria, you're the best. Misha Purnell, real estate investor. And she loves calling herself a real estate investor because she never thought this could be done until she went out there and did it. And that's the thing, is you got to put this into practice. So what I want you to do is to think of the 3 strategies, because I'm going to ask you when you come on Saturday, what are your 3 strategies that you're going to market? What are those marketing 3? So the second thing you need to know how to do is your negotiations. You have to be able to lock in those creative deals. You have to be able to negotiate with the sellers. So I want to teach you how to negotiate like a Jedi master. Tonight, I'm going to teach you 1 strategy. On Saturday, depending on how much time we have, I definitely want to teach you my negotiating strategy number 7, which is really, really going to be beneficial to you fix and flippers and you wholesalers. The Saturday strategy alone is going to literally show you how you can get your lowball offers accepted without, let's face it, making the seller angry, without upsetting them. But tonight I want to talk about this other strategy. You see, I didn't always like to negotiate. In fact, I tried to never negotiate. It made me nervous. I was afraid of people saying no because I wanted them to say yes. I mean, type in the chat box. I think all of you guys want your sellers to say yes to you. Type in the chat box if that's, you know, you're going in, you're seeing them, you want a yes. I don't think any of you guys would want somebody to say no, right? I mean, you're all going in there. Let me know if you're on board because I can't even see anybody now. I got rid of mine. Yay, Lori said yes. Exactly. You're going in to say yes. And here's the thing that they don't tell you. That nervous feeling that you get when you go in to talk to the seller or whatever, that's because you're thinking of yourself. You're not thinking about the seller and what the seller needs are. You're also nervous because of that yes, because you want the seller so badly to say yes to you. So instead, I want to change your thinking. I want you to forget yes completely. That's not why you're going in there. You're going in there to see if you can help them with their problems. You're looking for problems, which is also key to your marketing. So write that down. You're looking for people with problems. So instead, I want you to start with no. And it sounds completely counterintuitive, but no is a starting point. You see, no is a decision you can talk about. It's not the end of your negotiations. And that's the problem. Most people think when a seller says no to them, they just pick up and leave, like there's nothing else to talk about. Well, I always relate this to my daughter, Colette, who's 18 now. But when she was 16, guys, think back to when you were 16 and you just got your driver's license and you're super excited. My daughter sent me a picture from the DMV with her driver's license because she was so excited. So what is the first thing any kid does when they get their driver's license? You know, it's the license to freedom, right? Well, the first thing they're doing is going to mom and dad. They want the keys to the kingdom. They want to be able to take the car out. They want to be able to go see their friends, show it off, look at my new freedom. Well, what's going through mom and dad's head? Now, where you guys live in California, it's very busy. You're like Phoenix. You have like 6-lane highways, scary intersections. So all this stuff as parents starts going through your mind. And you start thinking about, if I say yes, what am I going to get into? So you're thinking, my child, she could be speeding. She could be horsing around with her friends. Her friends could be, you know, playing in the back seat, distracting her, or worse yet, she could be texting. And so everything you're thinking about, all yes roads, leads to something bad. So you say no. Now, does the 16-year-old girl, or in this case, my daughter, you know, go away? Does she say, okay, mom, we're cool, never mind? Of course not. Kids are resilient. Kids want that yes from their parents. They go all in. So my daughter, Colette, goes all in. I mean, she's in Vegas, baby, and she's 100% in because she knows that if she can overcome each and every one of mom and dad's objections, there's nothing left to say but yes. And that is the same with your seller. You need to be able to overcome each and every one of their objections. Now, here's a student of mine, Ben. Now my slides. Here we go. Ben is actually in this photo 25. He looks like he's 32. You guys grow these beards to look older. But anyhow, Ben went to college, got his degree. His dad wanted him to go to med school. He decided, I want to go to med school. So instead, Ben thought he'd go to work for a Fortune 500 company, become an account executive, marketing, right? Sounds exciting. Didn't take Ben but maybe 2 months to realize that this kind of sucks. I don't want to do that. So Ben knows that he wants to invest in real estate. So he invests in the real estate profit system, starts doing the quick start. Well, here's the thing. In corporate training and all that stuff, they taught him the marketing. Marketing was the easy part. His phone is ringing off the hook. He's sending out his letters. He's being consistent. He's setting up his appointments. He's going to the appointments. Anybody ever done that? You set up all your appointments, but you just can't get the sellers to the closing table, and it's frustrating. So Ben's 30 days into this, and he's just ready to give up. So I offer what I like to call my Lifeline Calls. And tell me if this is of help or service to you guys, because otherwise, if it's not, I'll forget about it. But with my system, I like to give Lifeline Calls. And the reason why I call them Lifeline Calls is it's an opportunity for you to call me, and we'll figure out what isn't working for you. So in this case, Ben couldn't figure out why he wasn't closing. He'd get people to sign the purchase and sales contract, but then they'd bow out. They'd cancel the contract, or they'd tell him that they'd sign it, but then he'd never hear back from them. And so when I'm talking to Ben and I'm finding out that marketing was the easy part, like I said, he got it down. Well, then I start asking him about his negotiations. And I find out that Ben never even looked at the negotiations course. He's like, I took a class during my sales training. They taught us how to negotiate. And I'm like, really? Tell me about that. So he starts talking to me about the negotiations that they're teaching him. And it's all the old school sales stuff that just simply doesn't work anymore. In fact, you kind of come across as a pushy used car salesman. And here's the thing. Ben was trying so hard to get the yes that he feared the no. He didn't realize that he had to get comfortable with the word no. In fact, you need to take that one step further, and you have to give your sellers permission to say no to you. And I want you guys to write this down. Tell your sellers, if at any time what I'm saying doesn't work for you, feel free to say no. Why am I doing that? Because it's empowerment for them, and it's letting you know what they're not going to agree with or what they don't like. It's how you're going to overcome the objections. And unless you can overcome those objections, they're not going to sell to you. So once Ben made literally this 2 millimeter shift. So remember, he's going out on these sales calls. His marketing is working, but he had to make that 2 millimeter shift with his negotiations. He literally went from doing 0 deals per month to doing 8 deals per month. By the time, 1 year later, by the time he was 24 years old, he was a multimillionaire. He made over $1.9 million, averaging $22,000 per deal. And the reason being is that he had negotiated these deals. He wholesaled the ones he didn't want and kept the low-hanging fruit that he did want. And Ben had a bucket list. He wanted to go and spend 3 months in Europe. I mean, that was killer to him, right? Who wouldn't want to go to Europe for 3 months? So we taught him how to systematize his business. So when he's away in Europe, his staff, his VAs, all that stuff could run the business with very little input from him. And here's the thing. His father, who's actually a doctor, and his mother went to go meet him in Italy. His father could only spend 10 days with him because his dad had to get back to his job. Meanwhile, Ben got to stay for the entire 3 months while making $22,000 per deal. I mean, how awesome is that? And all he did was take a small negotiation script and what I like to call my Oscar award-winning negotiation script to start landing these deals. And it made the difference between coming off as pushy and used car salesman-like, and instead having the confidence and empowering your seller, getting to know them, building that rapport, which is what all of this is really about. So here's Ben.
Hi, my name is Ben, and I'm a real estate investor in Kansas City, Missouri. I just wanted to take a quick second to give a shout out to Maria Giordano. I went through Maria's program about a year ago, and before finding her, I'd spent a lot of money on investing and learning about investing. And the only thing I could say is I wish I would have found her sooner. She did more to accelerate my real estate career than any investment I've made. The main reason is her program. It's structured in a way that kind of walks you through every step of the real estate investing process. And it really addressed almost all of the fears that I had about real estate investing and kind of got me off the ground to doing deals. And if you're looking for somebody who's a reliable coach, a reliable mentor, or just wanting to learn from someone who's been there and done it in the industry multiple times, I would highly recommend Maria. She's taken me from 0 deals a month to right now I'm averaging 8 deals a month, and I couldn't be more thrilled with how my life's changed. So thank you, Maria.
And here's the thing, behind Ben, over his, I guess it would be his left shoulder or to our right, is all the deals that he has going. It's his deal board, because you've got to see what you're doing. He's more of a visual learner. So Ben would have failed. He would have compromised his time for money had he gone on and pursued somebody else's dream and become a physician. He would still be in medical school and hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt. He would not be the multimillionaire that he is today at 25 years old. And remember, he earned his first million by the time he was 24. I mean, that is just really, really awesome. So we talked about locating the properties, one strategy, and I showed you 10 other ways to do your marketing. As I said, on Saturday, I'm actually going to give you the same letter that Ben used to get his phone ringing off the hook. I'm gonna put up my marketing letter, so you will have that on Saturday as well to help you out. The other thing is you've got to negotiate. On Saturday, we're going to talk more about negotiations. We're going to go into, hopefully we'll have time to do at least 2 or 3 different negotiation strategies. So you can really drill down. In the system, I have about over a dozen different negotiation strategies. So you can pick the one that works for you. There's no memorization, because I'm not the type of person to memorize a bunch of lines and that kind of stuff. So the third thing you need to do, though, is to leverage these properties. You're going to learn how to leverage other people's money. You're going to create deals out of thin air, because here's the thing, most people don't realize you actually make more money by using less of your own. I mean, think about what Lori had put up for the investment into the assisted living. She's leveraging other people's money and helping them make money as well. So you must know how to do this. And you see, creative deal structuring, there's really 2 different ways you can do it. You can do it on the acquisition side, which is all about control. Or you can do it on the financing side, that's using other people's money to get paid up front. Now tonight, I'm just going to talk about subject twos, because I think that it's going to be something that is just going to be out of this park towards the end of 2021. On Saturday, we're going to talk about the funding and how to find other people's money to fund your deals, where you literally get paid up front and you stay in the deal. We're also going to talk about a little thing called wraps and options. I'm going to teach you what I like to call my reverse option, which is a very creative and easy way for you to get more deals. By the time we're done on Saturday, you'll know subject twos and wraps so well, you'll be able to teach it to other people. So hang with me. It sounds like a lot. I actually have checklists in a system that takes you through everything. I'm a huge believer in checklists. But the thing that you have to remember and write this down is deals are made and not found. Now, you don't have to be a sleuth. You don't have to have a ton of creativity to do that. But with subject to deals, and if you don't know what a subject to the existing financing is, really, really simple. All a subject to deal is you're going out, you're negotiating with a seller who is motivated. They have a property that they want to sell. You're using a title company or a title attorney to do your closing. That deed is going to be recorded in your name, or if you have an LLC, your business's name at the courthouse. The financing that is attached to the property is going to remain. So that mortgage is going to remain on the seller's credit. It's going to be attached to him. You are going to be paying, or your tenants, if you're doing it as a rental, is going to be paying that mortgage on behalf of that seller every month. So this is literally my favorite strategy. I do a ton of these. I'm going to show you how I did it to actually get a house that's now worth $1.2 million. So yes, you can do this on big properties. You can do this on little properties, like my next example. On Saturday, I'll show you my bigger example with the property that I literally bought in the middle of Amish country, Pennsylvania. That's now worth $1.2 million. You don't need any qualifications. You don't need any of your own money. You don't need any of your own credit. In fact, your credit doesn't even matter. So if you've had some challenges and you have really bad credit, guess what? It doesn't matter. And it's a great opportunity to go after tired landlords like this next guy I'm going to show you, Joe, and take over their properties. You can do it to wholesale. You can do it with fix and flip, so you don't have to go out and get hard money. And you can do it to get and build your rental portfolio. So remember the strategy. It's a strategy that you can do with little to nothing down and with less than perfect credit. So one of the properties I did was with Joe. Joe was a tired landlord. And you see, Joe bought a property while he was in school. He was starting to be an architect. And he bought a property, a 3-bedroom, 2.5 bath property. He rented out the 2 other bedrooms to his buddies, and they were great tenants. They paid his mortgage, all that kind of stuff. It was kind of like Joe's utopia. The thing is like most people, they grow up and get married. Well, Joe found the love of his life, got married, bought a second home, moved in with her. Now, his 2 buddies did basically the same thing. So suddenly, like a lot of landlords, Joe finds himself renting to people he doesn't know, to strangers. Joe doesn't know what you do. Joe never went to a REIA, never went to a real estate investing organization, nothing. Doesn't even know how to run a business. And the problem is his tenants didn't respect him. His tenants would literally call Joe to change a light bulb. I mean, he's that nice of a guy. His tenants would pay late. I mean, most of the time they were paying after the 10th, sometimes after the 15th of the month. And these were good college educated tenants. I mean, one of them, or 2 of them, worked for the University of Phoenix. Problem is Joe hated this. So he responded to my letter, the same one I'm going to be gifting you with on Saturday. And he wanted to get rid of the property. And here's the thing. I'm going through my call script, my checklist, and I find out that his property is underwater. I found out that Joe tried to list it with realtors, but there's a problem. They don't know short sales. They didn't know you could short sale the property. They're not investors. They don't know what to do with a property that's over leveraged. Joe also found out he'd have to come to the table with the difference. He'd also have to pay for the realtor commission. In Arizona, it's 6%, as is most places in the country. He didn't have that kind of money. However, what I discovered is Joe's property was cash flowing $700 per month. And that is after all the expenses. That is his net. That's what he was able to pocket every month after all expenses. It was a great property. So as I'm talking to Joe and I'm trying to be the problem solver again, I said, Joe, look, you don't want to sell me this property. It's making such killer returns for you. I mean, heck, get a property management company. Well, Joe was just done. You know, when people are done, they're done. So Joe calls me up one day and he says, hey, Maria, I found out that if I stop paying the mortgage, the bank will take my property back. And I'm like, Joe, are you kidding me? Do you have good credit? He's like, yeah, I have good credit, but I hate it. If you ever met somebody who just absolutely hates it, like when they're done, they're done. And there's a lot of landlords out there. I mean, maybe some of you guys on this call are like that. You're like, I never want to be a landlord again. Well, I told Joe, hang on, give me 30 minutes. There's a Starbucks around the corner. Let's go and meet there. So I was out already. So I take my iPad with me. And because everything in my system is online and downloadable, I was able to access my 2-page purchase and sales agreement. It's the same one that I've literally used to buy houses from attorneys. I know a lot of people don't like to buy from attorneys, and they've told me it was that good. So I take this out, and it's a fillable contract. I hate having to retype stuff. I want it to look professional. Fill it out, electronically sign it, send it over to title. 2 weeks later, just 2 weeks later, I closed with only $1,300 out of pocket. All of a sudden, my phone is ringing off the hook. And here's something for you wholesalers. I'm getting offers on this underwater, over-leveraged properties for $5,000, $15,000, finally $20,000 as a wholesale fee from landlords. Why would they pay me $20,000 or even $5,000 for a property that is underwater? Anybody? Tell you. Because it's cash flowing. It's cash flowing $700 a month. And that means that they can easily make up the difference. They'd rather put $20,000 out there for a property that's renting for almost $2,000 a month. That's pretty darn good return. So to a buy and hold guy, they don't have to put out $200,000 or $300,000 to get that kind of a return. They're only putting out $20,000, which gives them more cash and more money to go out and do more deals. So if you're a wholesaler, you can wholesale these deals all day long. Now, some of you are thinking, well, that's great, Maria. You're an experienced investor. You do this all the time. Well, let me talk to you about my girl, Sherry here. Sherry was a 51-year-old daycare worker, making only $24,000 a year. I mean, that sucks. That's poverty, right? She's a divorced, single mother, 3 boys. She just had a goal of making $35,000 or $34,000 a year. That was her goal. So she invests in the system, and she only had, like I said, a couple of dollars for her marketing. So she picks her 3. One of them is probate. She goes down to the courthouse and gets her probate list. Now most courthouses will even send it to you. So she started with the 5-week quick start. Sherry didn't even have a computer. She doesn't have a laptop. She has nothing at home but her Samsung phone. So she starts to watch the course videos on her phone in her spare time during her breaks, whatever. And she goes over to her girlfriend's house to print out her marketing mailers, to print out her call scripts. So if anybody calls her, she'll have that. Well, her very first mailing, Sherry gets her very first phone call. It's a motivated seller. She goes right down the call script, finds out, asks her all these questions, sets up the appointment, finds out the woman's significant other had passed away about 3 or 4 months earlier. And she doesn't have the money. Not only did she lose her significant other, she was now about to lose her home. She was 3 months behind in mortgage payments. So what does Sherry do? She sets the appointment, thank God, and she sets up a Lifeline call with me. And with that call, she had all the data I needed to help her structure a subject to deal. She also had the negotiations with her. So I told her, I said, you're going to print out the negotiation script, that Oscar-winning script. You're going to take that with you. You also need to print out the property inspection checklist. And it's literally like ABCs and 1, 2, 3 that takes you through the property from top to bottom, inside and outside, so you look like you're a professional real estate investor, even though you've never done a deal. So she prints all that out. She goes there. And I said, when you get there to the seller, ask her if they would have any objections to asking them a few questions. Because of course they're going to say, no, we have no objections. Again, no gives them control. So she does that, and then you're going to just tell them, hey, well, I hope you don't mind, but I wrote out or I typed out my questions so I wouldn't forget to ask you anything. And that is how she started asking away her questions and negotiated her very first subject to deal. See, her very first deal, that deal, netted her $54,000 in profit. But the most amazing thing here is Sherry got her self-esteem back. You see, Sherry became a student of mine, and Sherry just killed it. And a lot of you guys are thinking, I don't know these steps. So I want to tell you a quick little story here that at first, it's honestly going to seem like it has absolutely nothing to do with real estate. But in fact, it has everything to do with real estate. So on the end there is my little guy, Marco. And just before this photo was taken, Marco almost wasn't in it. You see, in Gilbert, where I lived at the time, Marco was about 2.5 years old. We had this really nice property. And one morning, my sons and I, my son William, my second oldest child and I, went out there and with Marco and our dogs. And the dogs had gotten into everything. We had a pole barn, and they started pulling out all this stuff, and there's trash everywhere. So I start to pick this up, and the dogs are driving me crazy. So I turn to William. I say, hey, William, go feed the dogs. And I don't know, 5-10 minutes go by, and all of a sudden I hear this blood curdling scream, you know, like the type of scream where as a parent your hair stands up. So I turn around and I see William jumping into the pool. So I race over to the pool to see what's going on, just in time to see my little 2.5-year-old son face down, motionless in the deep end of the pool. And William gets there and he starts to roll Marco over. And Marco is like purple, black. And William swims Marco over to the side of the pool where I pick him up. And I have this decision. I go into trauma nurse Maria mode. And it's at this moment that I realize God meant for me to become a nurse for a reason. And you see in medicine, and I don't know if any of you are doctors or anything, or nurses or EMTs, but we have CPR. And all CPR, cardiopulmonary resuscitation, is a giant checklist. And I have done it hundreds, if not thousands of times before, obviously not on my own child though. And I start remembering my checklist. Step 1, send someone for help. So I send William to go call 911. Step 2 is, okay, do they have a pulse? Are they breathing? Well, he's purpley black, no pulse, not breathing. Next time, check their airway. Well, he just drank half my pool. So I clear his airway, try to clear his lungs, and I start compressions. I start CPR. So I do a round, check for a pulse, still not breathing, still no pulse, start a second round. And I go to check his pulse and I feel that he has a pulse. And you check, next step is you check to see if they're breathing, still not breathing. So I start to do rescue breathing on him. And then all of a sudden, the most beautiful sound I think I've ever heard in my life was this child scream. And as he screamed, his whole body just pinks right up. And he starts vomiting and you know, we're clearing his airway because that's the next thing. And, you know, putting him on, the last step is you put him on their side in a recovery position. You wait for help to arrive. Now I got very, very fortunate. My son is alive and healthy to this day. He doesn't have any deficits. I'm very fortunate. I don't know how long he was down, but it's like when I think back on things, I'm like, okay, what is God trying to tell me? What does this mean? What do I need to be doing? And I realized that when I look back, no checklist equals death. In this case, it honestly could have been the death of my child. In case of your business, not having the right checklist in place can be the death of your business. I know tons of people who have gone out of business because they didn't have the right processes and procedures and checklists in place. It could be the death of your private money lender because you didn't cover everything and made sure that their money was protected. It could be the death of your deal. So I want to gift you guys with tonight and take a picture of this. This is my subject to checklist. And the benefit to all my stuff being online is I'm constantly updating things. So I just updated this about a year ago before all the COVID stuff because I was out traveling. I was actually at Disney World in Florida with my family. Well, my contractor calls me and there's this alarm going off in the background. I'm like, what the hell is going on? Well, he's asking me for an alarm code. I'm like, what alarm code? And it turns out in my latest project, there was an alarm on the property and the electrician cut the power. I didn't know. I never thought to ask the seller if there was an alarm on the property. So now I include that in my checklist. Luckily, I was able to get the code from her. But there's the other things on there that are even more important, like getting the limited power of attorney for the mortgage, for the insurance company, for the debt service. You need to get that. You know, finding out. I was doing this with another student of mine today who's 23 years old. He's working on his first subject to deals. He's been a coaching student of mine for about a month. I told him, look at the checklist. He discovered he needed to get the reinstatement amount for the loan. Verify what that is because they want to close in another week. So when you have a checklist to follow, these deals that seem really hard or complicated actually become easy peasy, easy as ABCs and 1, 2, 3s. So you've got to have a checklist. So either use mine or build your own or ask somebody else for theirs. But I want to give you this tonight because this is the same checklist that SJREI used. And here's SJREI.
My first call, my first scheduled appointment, and then my first contractor. all one day. That was a little overwhelming, but exciting.
Good feeling.
Like it can be done. This can be done.
I mean, think about it. I showed you Misha, who just actually turned 30. She was homeless a couple of years ago, 5 kids, getting her first deals. Ben, who was a 23-year-old kid when he started, and then by 24 is a multimillionaire. And Sherry is 51 years old and made twice her annual salary as a daycare worker on her very first deal. The age, gender, none of that matters. Race doesn't matter. You can all do this. And you see, on Saturday, I'm going to go into the funding of these deals because I want you to be able to get that quick cash even with your funding. I want you to raise the money first to buy the properties, to get paid that $5,000 up front, and then go buy the property. I want you to stay in these deals. So if I have your permission, I want to introduce to you my family, the properties, and the system that has honestly allowed me to leverage their freedom. Oh, let's see. Oh, it's not working. There we go. So this has provided, each and every one of these properties has provided for my family's needs, but most importantly, and what I just absolutely love about it, it has allowed me to be there for them. I wanted to be able, when I set out to do this as a mom, or even you guys as a dad out there, I wanted to be able to drive my kids to school. I wanted to be able to get up in the morning, get my kids ready for school, sit down and have breakfast for them, and get them to school. And this system has allowed me to do this. Each one of these properties can equal freedom. Income that you no longer have to go out to a job to earn. All these homes represent either a passive revenue stream or quick cash from wholesaling, lump cash from flipping. I've acquired all of these properties with little to nothing down. And you can acquire these types of properties with little to nothing down and with less than perfect credit. That one is a multifamily. That one was a quick $10,000 wholesale fee. In fact, it paid for my oldest daughter's private education. That one was featured on television. That property had made me $60,000 as a quick wholesale, because sometimes a quick nickel is better than a slow dime. And again, this is the property that got me hooked on this. You see, my oldest daughter, when I got into this, is legally blind, and she needed to go to a special school. So not only was I broke and trading time for money and working really, really hard, I had to put my daughter into a special private school so that she could also get the special technology that she needed because she's legally blind. So this system has allowed me to do that. I see my son on the end there just got out of the Marine Corps. My husband next to him, Gary, is a retired lieutenant colonel from the United States Air Force. My husband used to do special ops. Do you think special ops or anything, he was a C-130 navigator, do you think they do anything without a checklist? Of course not. And my daughter next to him, and that's my daughter Aria, she's the one that, as I said, is legally blind. She wanted to learn how to do rent to owner to lease options because she saw me doing them. So I developed an entire course 2 years ago when she was interning with my company for her to go out and do lease options, rent to own. She's now a second-year law student, and she's out there in Iowa. She's going to the University of Iowa doing rent to own and lease options. And I don't want to ever hear somebody say, well, I have a disability, I can't do that. I'm like, are you kidding me? My daughter is freaking blind and she's doing it. She's taken the negotiation stuff I've taught her. And last year, she negotiated her fiance, his car. She got him $6,000 off his car, plus got them to throw in, the warranty with it. Next to her is Marco's guardian angel, my son, William. And then my oldest daughter's Colette, who I said, she's the one that, she's now 18. She's the one that, she got her driver's license, that license to freedom. I like to call her my comic strip, or for those of you who are parents out there, she's an only child with 4 siblings, if you know what I mean. But next to me there on the end, that's my little guy, Marco. Marco has taught me the value of life and how no parent should ever have to go through losing a child, because there's this natural order of things, and life is so precious. And that is why I do what I do, is to provide for them so that they can have a better life as well. And that's how I came up with my checklist. So tonight we only literally hit the tip of the iceberg. We covered the marketing, briefly the negotiations, and the creative deals structuring. On Saturday, we're going to take this much deeper. I'm going to give you my marketing letter. I'm going to go over another couple of strategies. In fact, I'm going to go over 2 more strategies for you, at least, on negotiations, because you've got to be able to negotiate. And a lot of you guys are doing really well with your marketing, but you can't land the deal and you don't understand how to do these creative deal structuring. So we're going to show you how to negotiate to do the creative deals, as well as how to formulate them. So I have actual graphics I'm going to be showing you on how to do your subject twos from A to Z, how to do your wraps from A to Z, doing something else that I like to refer to as my reverse option. It's an amazing tool that I've never seen anyone else do it. I came up with it quite honestly by accident, because I was coming across a ton of properties that had reverse mortgages on them. So I came up with this reverse option thing for one of my students. And here's the thing, options, if you don't know what they are, you will by the end of Saturday, because options are a huge part, an underused part of real estate investing. And then we're going to go into the funding, how you can get other people to literally pay you to use their money. So you gotta understand, people learn in 3 different ways. There's 3 ways that people learn. Sometimes it's a combination of the 3. You're either a visual learner, an auditory, or a kinesthetic, or need that accountability. I'm more of a kinesthetic, that accountability, as well as visual. I need somebody who will take me by the hand, literally, and show me how to do stuff. That is how I learned. That's probably why I did so poorly in public school, because they weren't doing that. So in this course, in the system that I'm about to show you, I include all of that. So you get all the checklists, you get all the purchase and sales agreements, you get your assignment contracts, you get your contractor contracts, you get a checklist for going out on your appointments, because I've seen experienced investors who've forgotten things when they're going out on the appointment. I also have over 100 different videos, and this sounds kind of overwhelming, but the reason is some of them are really short, because people don't want to sit down and listen to a 30-minute or an hour-long video. Usually we have short snippets of time. So most of my videos are broken down into short, little, concise snippets of time that you can either listen in the car, watch on your phones, tablets, whatever it is. But also, if you find this a benefit, I give you the Lifeline calls. I also have chat boxes in the system, so you can chat and have a conversation if you don't want to use a Lifeline call. But everything is 100% downloadable, and it's in a fillable format, so that you just fill in. Like if you're using the call form, you can ship it off to your VA. So your VA, and here's the benefit, your VA can fill in the form for you and then email it to you. So you're not getting this long, drawn out email. You can scan the form for the pertinent information that you need to make the deal happen, or to even find out if there is a deal there. So what the real estate wealth system is you get the Real Estate Wealth Academy 2.0. That's SJREI $54,000 course. It's what made her first $54,000. It's the quick start. It's designed to get you up and going and getting your properties in less than 5 weeks. The second thing is your real estate marketing mastery. That has everything in it. And here's the important thing is you've got to know how to write your letters. I have those in there. They're already done for you. You have probate letters in there. You have hidden market letters in there, driving for dollar markets. You have pre-foreclosure letters in there, and you need to be able to send the right letter to the right person, because you don't want to be sending somebody who's going through probate a foreclosure letter. I mean, come on, that's kind of a not nice thing to do. You're not going to get the response you want. So I teach you how to market. And here's the thing, I was just talking to Lori before we went on here. One of my, and I hesitate to tell anybody this, and my students know, and I'll show you how I'm doing it on Saturday. Just one of my latest funnels, because I'm an active investor, is giving me a 9%, and it's direct mail, response rate on the first mailer. And these are deals. These are actual deals that I'm doing, not just garbage out there. I have another funnel that I'm doing that I recently tweaked and is doing even higher than that. So I'm out there doing what works and I'm giving that to you. This other thing is you're going to get the Ninja Negotiations. That's the Academy Award winning of negotiations. It's what's going to get you those deals. And here's the thing, you can use it if you're buying a car. Heck, my daughter Colette has gotten so good at negotiations. She uses the stuff on me to get what she wants. And here I am teaching it. But it's how you get the seller to say yes. And if nothing else, I hope you understand, you're not going in there to drive for the yes. You're going in there because you want to find out what their problems are. You're also going to get the lease option course, the one that I developed for my daughter. And I haven't even had a chance to talk about this. There's very few people who will teach you how you can pick up a property without having to put any of your own money down on it. You control the property and put tenants in there, but they're not renters. They're tenants who want to become homeowners, and they're willing to pay you a premium for you to allow them to buy your property. And yes, you're allowing them to buy your property at a future date. Meanwhile, you're getting two things from them. You're getting cash flow and you're getting equity in the property through the principal pay down. And because they're not a renter, they want to be a homeowner, it's a different type of tenant. They do all the repairs, they do everything, and they're not going to want to walk away from a property they're vested in. They see themselves in there long term. You're also going to be getting the little to no money down. This is the course that has your subject twos, has your wraps, has your options in there, as well as your assignments, how you do all that. But it also has the private money lender in there. In fact, I give you in this course my $10,000 tenants in common agreement. And why is it a $10,000 agreement? Because I've spent that much money over the years on having attorneys look at it and tweak it. It is an actual legal document that, quite frankly, private money lenders absolutely love, and it favors you, the investor, who's putting the deal together. So what I want you to be able to do is get more high profit deals. You're going to get 3 Lifeline coaching calls with either myself or my husband, Gary, if he's available. He's not always available. They're going to be direct coaching, and you're going to customize your marketing, negotiate, and close high profit deals to attract the high paying deals, the more motivated sellers, which equals more profits for you. So it's a systematic real estate growth. You get the contracts, the purchase and sales, the assignment contracts, the option contracts. You're going to get my ironclad lease agreement, which I haven't even had a chance to talk about. And for those of you who are struggling with the marijuana issue, I have a clause that I put in there that covers some of that. You're going to get the checklist, the subject to checklist, the checklist for going on appointments, for going through the properties, the inspections, all that's in there, as well as the scripts for talking to sellers, for structuring the deals. We have the video trainings. The video trainings alone are an entire, education just on the side. I mean, with all the e-lessons and everything. And you can progress because it's a home study course at your own pace, which for some of you is really important. So you're going to get more qualified prospects because it's not about just getting a ton of people calling you. It's about getting a ton of motivated sellers who want you to buy their property. So it's a complete online library to close more profitable deals and make a lot more money. So I like to refer to it as the ultimate real estate growth system to attract more motivated sellers who want to sell to you. So here's my promise, all right? I promise to you is that when you follow my system step by step, you are going to get literally your next, or let's face it, for some of you, your first deal. See, I have this thing about 2021 is my goal is to get as many investors as possible out of seminar land and doing deals. Because let's face it, you're not doing deals if all you're doing is going around and listening. And there's some amazing speakers out there, but getting the education. You need to be getting out of seminar land and start doing deals and making money simply by following a proven process, a proven system. I mean, the only thing that Ben and Sherry and Misha have that you don't is the proven, easy to follow system. Anyone can do it. So normally this system is about a $4,200 system. When I think about all the education my husband and I have gone through over the years, we've spent over, gosh, probably over $80,000 on systems and on going to seminars. And some of them were really good. Some of them weren't so good. Some of them just weren't legally compliant and were outdated techniques and tools that just weren't current with the times. And here's the thing. With me, you know it's current because I'm doing it. I mean, heck, I just closed on a deal last week. I'm looking at 2 more deals on Sunday. I'm with you guys on Saturday, so I can't do it on Saturday. So I'm looking at 2 more deals on Sunday. I'm constantly doing this so you're getting what works. So Lori asked me to do something for you guys. So instead of it being $4,297, what we're going to do is we're going to slash that price. Instead, I'm going to give it to you for just $1,297. You're going to get everything you saw there. However, when I was talking to Lori, we were talking about COVID and how people need to get motivated. And sometimes when things are online, it's hard to get you to do it, to download the systems, the courses. So instead I came up with it, and you guys are the first one. The SJREI is the first group I've ever made this offer to. I'm actually made what I like to call my COVID action bonus. It is going to be your toolbox that is going to be delivered directly to your address, whatever address you specify. And it literally looks exactly like this. The box is a Tiffany blue box. The only difference is the box is a welcome box instead of a toolbox, but I've decided it's really more of a toolbox. So in this box, what are you gonna get? You get your yellow tablet. Why am I including a yellow pad in there? Because if I tell you to go out and get a yellow pad, do your yellow letters and stuff, less than 50% of you are gonna have a yellow pad. So I'm giving that to you because, again, I want you to take action. I'm taking away all of your excuses. You're also going to get 2 of my yellow letter copy so you can, repurpose it for you. You're gonna get my appointment checklist. So why is the appointment checklist so important? Well, even you experienced investors, not just you new investors, but even you experienced investors forget things. Sometimes you forget your call sheet from the property. What is all the details on this deal? Sometimes you forget your comps. Sometimes you forget your purchase and sales agreement. It's all on there. I've had people forget to take pictures. It tells you on there, take your pictures so you know your property. You're going to get your to-do list for your daily, your weekly, your monthly goal setting. All that stuff is on there because you need to run this like a business. Even if you're like my student Ken, who absolutely loves his job as a car designer for Chrysler, he still was scattered. He needed to get this like a business because he was wasting his time forgetting stuff constantly. The other thing I'm going to include is your call sheet. So you don't have to go into the system to get it. You have no excuses with me. And what I've done for this call sheet, what makes it super cool, is it's actually a tablet, just like the yellow pad. So that you get a whole bunch of sheets right there that are glued at the top so you can fill them out and keep them either on the pad or you can take them out like a tear off and put them in a separate folder. But it's all right there so you have it. Because some people, again, like to write things out. They say that you actually remember things more when you're physically writing it out versus typing. You're also going to get your 3 offer pad. This is hugely important. For some of you guys, it's the way you're presenting your offer. It's confusing. A confused mind never says no. It says yes. A confused mind isn't going to sell you your property when they don't know what the heck the deal is. So this allows you to explain it and make 3 offers and then come up with what I call my hybrid offer. So when you come to my 3-day workshop, I teach you how to do your hybrid offer. But instead of going and taking, writing this out and then taking a picture with your phone or whatever, it's also a tear off. You sign it, you tell them how long the offer is good for, you give 1 copy to the seller, and you keep the yellow copy. So you have a physical copy right there. That's really important for most of you guys. You get the Investor Insider Action Guide, which is your workbook. It has your marketing in there. It talks about other strategies, how to do them in detail. It talks about your negotiations. I believe I have 12 negotiating strategies in there. And then I have the creative strategies with the options and the wraps and the subject twos and just how to do simple seller finance deals, you know, the simple seller carrybacks. You know, we haven't even started talking about those yet, as well as using other people's money. And here's the other thing that I did. I used to only give this as an electronic download at my boot camps or my workshops. And instead, and this is actually a book, by the way, the Real Estate Investor Insider Action Guide is an actual bound book for you. Same with the Real Estate Investor Book of Terms. I made literally like a book of terms for you because every industry has their own acronyms and their own jargon. I mean, heck, I'm around so many military people, all the different acronyms they use, I have no idea what they're talking about. Well, here's the thing. If you're going to be a real estate investor, you have to know what an ARB is. What is mail? What is seller financing? What is OPM? All these different terms. And in there, I've left blank sheets as well so you can take notes. I'm even giving you the highlighter in this box so you can highlight things. Again, you're not going to have an excuse not to do a deal with me. I'm giving you what I like to call is my ATM card. This is a USB. It's the size of a credit card. It's an actual USB, and I've made literally hundreds of thousands of dollars off of this card. You just plug it into your USB drive, because let's face it, who has, and my husband and I were talking about this because he needed a CD player for something earlier this week. Who has CDs and DVD players anymore? They're even removing them from cars now. So this is a USB that you plug in. In that USB is all of your marketing. You have a marketing talk in there. You have 3 more marketing letters in there. As you can tell, I'm really big on getting you your marketing going so you get those response rates. I also have an ebook that I wrote. It's called 7 Steps to Find Motivated Sellers Without Having to Cold Call. Because I know a lot of you guys, most of you do not want anything to do with cold calling, door knocking, or anything that could be remotely considered painful. I have news for you. That uncomfortable feeling, there's money in there. That's money talking to you. You're just uncomfortable with receiving money. But it's okay if you don't want to door knock or cold call, because I have other strategies for you to do that I explain in detail. Then I'm going to give you my $10,000 I Buy Houses button. So why do I call this my $10,000 button? You'll laugh at this. I wear this button. I have my spouse wear it. Sometimes I have my kids wear it. This is my $10,000 button because one day, I was going into the post office getting stamps for my mailers and stuff to have my assistant send out a batch of mailings. And I was wearing this. I strike up a conversation with somebody at the post office. They have an unwanted property. They have a problem they need somebody to solve. I made $10,000 off of that. And I found it just by wearing an ugly yellow button. Who here, honestly, would wear an ugly yellow button if you were going to get $10,000 for it? Everyone would. It's painless. Yes, I get it. It's not exactly the prettiest thing in the world. But sometimes ugly makes you money. And this is one of those cases. In this gift box, or toolbox, I'm also giving you a red pen so that you can write out your yellow letters if you want to do that. I'm giving you a black pen to make your offer on. And I'm giving you a black permanent marker. So if you want to do bandit signs, you have that for doing your bandit signs. You see, with me, there are no excuses for not getting this done. So it's the Wealth Builder platform. And again, the Real Estate Wealth Machine, everything I've showed you is just $12.97. You're going to get the 3 Lifeline calls. It's a $1,500 value. That's the free bonus to you today. You're going to get the 3-day workshop. It's a live workshop. It's a free bonus to you. Typically, I offer it for $9.97. Today, you're going to get 2 tickets for you and a partner, you and your business partner, you and your spouse, you and your kid, whatever, as a free bonus. You can also, and I didn't mention this, for my workshops, you can come back as often as you want. It's not one and done with me. Because when you join my group, you become part of my family. And if you need help, I want you to be able to come back and get that help. You're going to get the toolbox. That's the $550 value. That's a free bonus as well. I'm going to be shipping that to you. So it's going to take a few days for you to get it, but everything else you'll get instant access to. The other thing I'm including is the very first course that I did. It's my Fix and Flip Wealth Builder course. That is also a free bonus for you. I used to offer it for $997, but I realized so many people want to do the fix and flip. I now include it in the package. So you're going to get everything you saw there. You're going to get all the home study course, everything, all 5 courses, plus the 6th course, the bonus Fix and Flip Wealth Builder. That course has my ironclad contractor agreement in there, because here's the thing, write this down. You never ever want to put arbitration in one of your contracts. It's going to cost you so much more money. Mediation, just that one tip saved my husband and I $30,000. So remember that. You're also going to get the property inspection forms in there, everything you need. You're going to get the 3 Lifeline calls with me, and the 3 Lifeline calls don't expire. So if you don't use them in 2021, it's okay. You have 2022, 2023, however long you need. You're going to get the toolbox, and it is exactly what you see here. It comes in that exact box. This is literally a picture I took of it this week. You're going to get the 2 VIP master passes, a $997 value, also included in here for you and your business partner. The dates for that is, oh God, where do I have it? The dates are going to be, the next one is in March 12th, 13th, and 14th. Write that down. And that one is in Phoenix. If for some reason we can't meet in person, we're going to have social distancing and all that kind of stuff. I'm working with a conference center in Phoenix for that. If for some reason we can't do it in person, we're going to do it virtually. I've already done 2 of these virtually, and people have actually loved it. We're going to do the one after that in June 18th, 19th, and 20th. And then, and that one's in Milwaukee. And then we have a 3rd one scheduled for 2021 in October 22nd, 23rd, and 24th in Philadelphia. And the reason why I've picked those places is because they're easy places to get in and out of tons of airports, and the hotels are affordable, because I don't want you to have to spend a lot of money to do it. So you're getting all this tonight for only $12.97. And I think Lori put the link to it in the chat box. So here's what I want you to do. Click on the link, invest in the course. It's going to take you to a landing page where you put all your information in. As soon as you get your information in there, I will add you to the course, and I will also ship you the toolbox. I also want you to be there on Saturday. Saturday is going to be a huge value for you. Now, here's the thing. I don't repeat my teachings. What I teach during the 3-day is not what's in the course. I don't want to waste your time by repeating things. Now, here's the benefit about going to the 3-day with me, is the 3-day workshop. We're there face to face. I'm answering your questions. We're doing work. You're working on your business. And I've got you away from all those distractions in your life so you can leave there and amp up your real estate investing even more. That toolbox is there to get you going, get you up and running immediately. So I want you to click on the links, invest in the system, and click on the link to sign up for Saturday. Saturday is honestly going to be a lot of fun. For some of you, it's going to feel like you're drinking through a fire hose, but that's okay. I'm here to take care of you. I know what it feels like. So sign up right now, and I will see you guys on Saturday. And hopefully I'll also see you guys in person, not virtually, during the 3 days. So thank you guys so much for having me. Click on the link, it's in there. Oh, you can also go to, I believe, Lori, and correct me if I'm wrong, I think they can also access it through the SJREI, is it .org website
.org.
as well?
SJREI.org. I did update the homepage, yes.
Okay, perfect. So you can also get it through the SJREI.org homepage as well. If anybody has any questions on this, I can take some questions right now. I don't know if you guys can unmute yourself or not.
Yeah, Maria, before we go to questions, first of all, I want to say thank you. Second of all, in the chat, there is the link for the Saturday workshop. For attending tonight, you guys are getting a $50 off for Saturday's workshop. You will see that is the Investing with No Limit link. That's the one that's going to get you there for Saturday. The information that you will get from this is amazing. Already tonight, I've learned a couple techniques that I want to put into play just from what Maria said. So if you are serious, be there on Saturday, no exception. And if you're ready to get a jump start with all this information, I can tell you right now that the value that she is offering you is worth more than even the $4,200. It's worth more like $20,000, because I've been to these courses that have got, you know, $20,000, $30,000, and half the stuff they teach isn't even stuff that you can put in play. And I can tell you right now, everything that she's offering you there, you can use right now. I don't want anyone to tell me you cannot do creative financing or creative strategies in California. In this year, 2020, the last 3 deals that I've done in California, Cupertino, Santa Cruz, San Jose, all high-end markets, all creative finance, seller finance, just like she's teaching you here in this market. So don't even use that as an excuse. I like it. The no excuse investing program.
Exactly.
Okay, now I'll let you go ahead and answer some questions. So if you have questions, go ahead and shoot them over to us. We'll give a couple minutes here, 15 minutes for Q&A, and then we'll wrap up. So anybody have some questions? Oh, the workshop on Saturday is from 9 to 1.
Yes.
So somebody had asked, what time is the workshop? It's from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m.
And here's the thing, at the workshop, I'm going to take you guys literally through one of my deals, because I know California has really, really high real estate prices. I mean, heck, I think one of the markets you were saying was like the median price was $1.6 million. I'm here to show you that you can do these deals with high priced properties. I did them in the middle of Amish country, Pennsylvania. A high price, but granted, maybe for you guys, 1.2 million isn't that much. But I did a subject to deal with a short on a second. You can do creative deals. There's so many things that you can do that we're just like scratching the surface of. Yeah,
so I bought a fully paid off house in Cupertino on seller financing for 6 months for 1.8 million. And Cupertino, when we listed that house, we had an over ask price in less than 2 hours. So that's how hot that market is, but yet we're still able to buy it seller financed.
Absolutely. And here's the thing, is there are sellers out there that don't want to deal with realtors. They don't want to have showings. I've actually dissected, like you guys are, I'm sure, all familiar with Open Door and some of those other iBuy systems. I've actually dissected them, and I've talked to people who've used them instead of a realtor or whatever. And here's the thing, the idea that it's no hassle, that they don't have to have showings, that they don't have to clean it, that they can move and close at a time that they want to, that's huge. And I've included that in my marketing, and I just started including some of that. And I think that's one of the reasons why my response rates have gone through the roof. You guys need to know this. You need to know what is it that your sellers want. And I'm here to tell you, and I'm sure Lori will tell you the same thing, it's not always about price. You'd be surprised how many people will discount their properties hundreds of thousands of dollars, not have to deal with painful or inconvenient issues. So.
Okay, it looks like we don't have a lot of questions. So this is the last call. If you have a question, now's the time to be typing it into chat, letting us know what you've got for a question.
Yeah, so otherwise, I am so looking forward to seeing you guys on Saturday. I am going to warn you, on Saturday, I'm going to be asking you guys questions. So I'm going to need a little bit more participation because 4 hours of me just talking, oh my God, I don't even want to hear my own voice. So I'm going to need to ask you questions. I'm going to need you guys to respond. I need to know if you're getting the information and processing it.
So one of the questions, Maria, is will we be able to get deals in high demand areas?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And here's the thing is that in those high demand areas, again, it comes down to what are the seller's needs? What problem do they have that they want you to solve? And to get them in the door, it starts with your marketing. And I'm going to be sharing a few things, especially one huge thing. I'll just tell you now, we'll go more into detail with that on Saturday. You're not creating a marketing list. All right. I'm going to tell you right now, you're not creating a marketing list. If you create a marketing list, you're going to fail. And I'll tell you why on Saturday. Because I got to get you to Saturday.
Hey, Maria.
Because then I have to show you how.
Hey, Maria. What do you think about wholesaling? How's wholesaling though?
Oh, wholesaling is fantastic. Like these type of deals, you can wholesale. Because here's the problem with most wholesalers right now, they're suffering to wholesale fix and flips. The margins are so narrow. One of the markets I'm in, they're buying at like 85 cents on the dollar. The wholesalers are. So imagine what they're reselling those to the other investors at. When you do these type of deals, and say you're going after a creative deal, you can do a subject to on a fix and flip. My husband and I did it on a fix and flip where we were able to keep the mortgage in place, allow that seller to move when they needed to move. And we had enough equity that we were buying with that property that we fixed it up. The seller held it. We gave the seller extra money at the end of the 6 months, just a few $1,000s more. Didn't have to get hard money and flip the property and made an extra $50,000. I could have wholesaled that deal. Here's the other thing. Yeah, go ahead.
No, you're the speaker. You go. Go.
I was also going to add that if you're having a hard time finding decent flip properties to wholesale, you can wholesale these rental properties. You get them under contract. And here's the thing. Some of these older sellers that I'm dealing with who've owned these properties for a long time, they actually like getting the cash every month. They just didn't like having to deal with all the tenants, or they're tired, or they don't have the agility and the mobility that they used to have. So when you go in there and you negotiate it and you build that confidence, they're more than happy to sell it on terms. And then you can turn around and wholesale those terms deals. Because if you're getting something on terms, and even if you only have to pay $50,000 down for it, a wholesaler might say, shoot, that property is worth $400,000 or $500,000. If I have to come in with $100,000, I'm all in, especially if it's cash flow. Because cash flow is king.
I get one more question. This is an MLS question. Okay. So why wouldn't people just put their home for sale on MLS?
Well, here's the thing, and I'm not a realtor, so I'm a little biased there. I actually have students that are realtors and stuff because they want to be investors. Here's a couple of the reasons I've been given by sellers. I have some sellers that I've dealt with that just don't want to talk with realtors because they don't see realtors bringing them any value. They just see realtors sticking a sign in the yard and having tons of people traipse through their house. So that's one reason. The second reason is because they want to do their own negotiations. They don't want to have, 50 people coming through their house. They don't want to be getting their kids up maybe for Sunday and having a realtor calling and saying, hey, we want to show your house in 30 minutes. So there's a lot of reasons. And some people are very private people. They don't like people invading their space. So there's a multitude of reasons why people.
Gotcha.
And here's the other thing. A lot of realtors are telling people that, hey, you've got to declutter your house, depersonalize your house. All those family portraits, you got to take them down because people need to be seeing their family in your house when those buyers go through. Or, oh, you need to paint this, or, you know, you've got to do all this other stuff and they don't have the money to do it. So, and believe it or not, right now I'm dealing with a couple of sellers who have in the last couple of years over leveraged their property, despite all you know, the increases in property values and stuff like that. One lady, her property was paid off, and her family talked her into, and I think they may have even known the appraiser or whatever, but they talked her into refining the house. And now she needs to go into an assisted living facility and sell the house. And here's the problem. The house has so much repairs that need to be done that is not worth what she owes on it. It's close, but to do the repairs and stuff, she's not getting anything for it. So there's also those sellers out there as well. So any other questions for you guys?
I think that's a wrap for tonight, Maria. And I look
Awesome.
forward to seeing you on Saturday. I can't wait. It's going to be exciting.
I am so looking forward to it. I love to do this. I wish we could be in person, and I dream of the day when we can be. But in the meantime, you know what? I'll take what I can get.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, thank you, everybody. And look forward to seeing you all there on Saturday.
Awesome. Click on those links, guys. Thank you. Have a great night.